I feel like I'm gonna be like trying to talk like I know things, but I feel like listening to your customers is more important than finalizing your decision on a whim. Because if people can play the game they want to, then you're gonna get more customers playing your game and more people just playing it in general. And the more they like it, the more they're gonna talk about it and bring even more people into the game. So it just makes sense in the end that they would listen to their customer base even with a game that's been out for a while. I mean, if it's a subsidiary company, I feel like with it being a game that's been released for so long that they have kind of almost free will to do with it what they please. But that's not always the case with some companies. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, I feel like a lot of the bigger game companies took over a lot of places and they're just starting to make the subsidiary companies that they own for making games not really care as much. And that's not to say that the game companies don't care about their games, but it seems to be that way with a lot of things lately. And I feel like it's just because of parent companies working the subsidiaries so hard, or the subsidiary companies that they reach out to for making games don't have a lot of say in how they actually make the game that they're working on, and that affects the results in the end too. But I don't know for sure. I'm not super smart, even though I seem like it. I just know the big words and things that refer to it. But like even smaller games that have been around and been popular, like Fortnite and stuff, there's pros leaving the game because Epic either is failing to listen to people, or they don't have the capabilities from their parent company to go through with listening to people like they want to, and it's making the game worse.
Looking good. Come back and see me sometime.
At least when you think of game companies messing up, it doesn't get much worse than Bungie. And I'm glad a lot of companies don't mess up as bad as Bungie did. Because Bungie got their independence from their parent company, and then they made their game worse. Literally, I quit on day one of the newest DLC that they released when, I think it was like last year. They released that giant Hive DLC in Destiny, and I quit immediately. I played for like 10 minutes and stopped playing the game forever after that. It's because I had to level up and stuff. And I just spent like months leveling up. Why do I have to level up when you release a new DLC? Just start at my level. Especially after waiting for like 2 years for a new DLC, definitely start at the character's level. But even then, after I left playing Destiny, they fucked up so bad they had to put it out on Google that they were sending surveys to people asking why they stopped playing the game. Like, when you mess up so bad, you have to ask your customers and people playing the game what you did that you fucked up so bad that they're leaving your game and not playing it anymore. You've definitely messed up. You just have. And it's kind of funny that they messed up so badly, especially after they got their freedom from their parent company. So I do think they tried, but ultimately Bungie failed, and I have to shit on them for it because they're the only game company I know of that messed up that badly. To like actually have to try and take a survey on why people are stopping playing your game and like deleting it from their system kind of mess up. It's just kind of funny. Yeah, I think that's a lot of companies are messing up that way because they don't listen to the fan base and what they're asking for, or fixes that they're asking about. And I don't know much about Tera, because I haven't been playing that long, but it seems like they did a good job at first, and then things just kind of went downhill after the console transfer and the server movement. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's still a very good MMO, but I keep calling it a base game, and that's because it looks and feels almost like a base MMO. You know, like, there's a lot of stuff that can be missing or done better, so it just feels basic. I will look at your comments in just a second. I'm fighting a giant thing with tentacles. It's not the best time to look away, I guess. No, I feel like more gaming companies should do what some of the bigger ones are doing right now, and that's just listen to your customer base. Especially if you're in the MMO demographic of games. Because if you don't listen to your demographic for your game, and the people who play it on a regular basis, then you're going to lose them, and you're not going to get any new customers, because they're going to go shit on your game everywhere else too. You know? If you're not listening to the current demographic playing things, then you're just not going to get any more players. Well, when Destiny 2 first got released, because I pre-ordered it, it was back when I first moved in with somebody. I pre-ordered it and I played it, and the first week that I got the pre-ordered version of Destiny 2, I beat the main story 7 different times, at least. And then stopped playing it for like almost a flat-out year after playing it for like the rest of that month. And came back to it, and it was all fun again and everything. And then I just set it down again for a year. It got to the point where I played 23 separate characters in Destiny 2. Because the DLC got boring, the PvP got boring. If I wanted to play the game again, I just wanted to play the story again. It got to the point where I could beat the main story of Destiny 2 solo in just over 4 hours. And with a partner, I could beat it in just under 4 hours. And my friend from Scotland that I still have on my PS4 was the one that did it with me. We beat it together in 3 hours and 50-something minutes, and when I played by myself, I beat it in like 4 hours and 10 minutes. Was my record for beating the storyline in Destiny 2. It was even shorter than playing Destiny 1 Taken King all the way through. Because I think that still takes me like 7 or 8 hours to beat straight through to the end of Taken King. The only good thing that I'm going to say Destiny 2 did was Gambit. That was a unique idea in the entire world, and I loved Gambit to death. It was PvP mixed with PvE, and as someone who's mediocre at PvP and amazing at PvE, it was a way that I could show off my skills in a different way than just memorizing maps and stuff. And I gotta love it when that happens too. But the thing I didn't like about Destiny and why I stopped playing initially is because back when the light level was capped at like 600 or something, before whatever DLC released last year or whatever, I played like the Halloween event or something and a couple other things, and I got my warrior, whatever they're called, the Titan, I think it is, up to like 600 light level. She was the only one that I got up to 600 light level. My other two characters were like 560, 570, something like that. But they released the DLC, and I was ready to play it, you know? They said they were upping the light level when the DLC released. They said, you know, the DLC was coming out, it was going to be great and everything. Don't get me wrong, the game's great. But the problem I had with it was the light level cap was 600 for like the first for like that last 6 months that I played, I got to it, and then as soon as the DLC released, the very first mission of the DLC, the recommended light level was 660. How are you gonna have 600 light level be the cap for the longest time, and then the first mission of your new content, everyone's too weak for it and has to grind before they can actually play the game when it releases on the day it releases? I couldn't make it through the first mission. I quit after 10 minutes of dying in the first mission because I didn't want to actually go level grind even more than I already had. And that's where Destiny lost me immediately. Was, yes, you improved the light level, but start things like you did when you killed Cade. When they introduced the Forsaken DLC, it was, at the time when it got introduced, the light level cap was like 30 or 40 points above what they started Forsaken at, which was fantastic, you know? Everybody was just a high enough light level if they had been playing constantly to just start up Forsaken and go. But the new DLC did the opposite. And I think I'm not the only person that probably got dissuaded from playing after seeing that. It was really, really disappointing because I was looking forward to playing the Destiny 2 DLCs and seeing what changes came, but even after I quit, as time went on, I kept looking at it, and everything I read and everything I heard, the game just kind of shit on itself. For a lack of better terms, the game just ended up shitting on itself to the point where longtime people who had been playing since day one of regular Destiny and been attached to the game just stopped. There was no like leaning away from the game. They just abruptly cold turkey stopped the game because it was that shitty. And that's something that's really disappointing to see in a lot of games, especially ones that have sequels or have been out for years or still have years of content to come, is when you lose your baseline of players that gave you what you had in the first place. And that's what they did, is they lost so many people that had been there from the beginning. Destiny 2 is still a good game, you know. If you look at it for what it was before they messed up, it's still a good game, and if I wanted to, I could probably plug it back in, download the update. That is a massive update, by the way. I have to download like a 90 gig update or something. It's something stupid like that, because I haven't played in like over a year. But I would play through the story again just for the hell of it, you know? It was a good storyline for Destiny 2. It's not that it was meant for PvP, by the way. I just saw your other comment. It's not that Destiny 2 was meant for PvP. It's that the people that played primarily PvP felt left out from the previous season and the DLCs that got released. So the newest season was supposed to focus on PvP and upgrading the experience you felt in Crucible and stuff. To be honest, I'm still irritated with Shaxx in general, let alone Crucible itself, because Shaxx's most common saying that I got to pop up in Destiny 2 was, there's no such thing as a tie. And when you think about any game in the entire universe, there's always a tie. But Destiny 2 refused to have a tie outcome to any of their matches, which would always result in me ending up getting my ass kicked and losing. And then Shaxx would be like, oh, do better next time. Okay. Don't pair me against a team that's made up of 6 people meant to destroy everyone. And the other thing about Crucible was, probably just gonna end things soon, but the other thing that bothered me about Crucible and Destiny was if you did too good, or your opponent did too good, it would say, we're breaking up the teams and trying to find a better match. Okay. Well, there's problems with that statement that they put out to people. One, if you bring a 6-man team into Crucible, the game breaking that up just because you put together too good of a team, in one state of things, that's just wrong on the game itself, because they grouped up to play together whether they're good or not. But also, even if they break up that party, what's to stop them from just hopping out of queue, inviting them back, and then hopping back in queue for Crucible again? You know, there's nothing stopping them from doing that. So instead of the party that lost having to fight them again, you're just sicking that team of brutally good players off to kill some other noob squad put together by solo players and duo players in Crucible. And it became a problem because those kind of people wouldn't just play competitive PvP. They would slip into the quick play with a team of 6 for the hell of it and ruin the experience for the people who are just trying to get their challenges done and shit and get things over with. And the best way I found to tell my friends to deal with Crucible was literally to just treat Crucible as the most sarcastic experience of your life. Just say yay when you die, and then you won't end up wanting to snap your controller in half, because you're that much closer to the round being over the faster you get destroyed. And when a game becomes like that for any aspect, it's kind of losing touch with everybody already. Literally, it got to the point where I had to treat things sarcastically, or I was gonna end up snapping my controller in half with my bare hands, because it was frustrating. I play Final Fantasy XIV on PS4. Well, I did before it became too expensive and I'm a broke son of a bitch. So, the answer to that question is yes, it is very good on PS4. And honestly, if I had the option to pay $30 a month to play it, I would probably be playing it instead of Tera right now, or at least a. It's basically the same experience as PC on a console, or at least as close as you can get. The only thing, at least last time I played, when I played Final Fantasy on the PS4, was the only thing that I wish they would have like fixed is that mics don't work. So you either have to be playing with a PS4 party and be in a party to talk to who you're playing with, or you absolutely have to type. Final Fantasy XIV classes, I think there's the basic, to be honest. Wow, hi third person. Final Fantasy XIV, there's the basic, you know, like there's the black mage, the white mage, the archer, lancer, marauder, which I think is the axe fighter. There's a rogue too, but you have to, I think rogue you have to take as a secondary class, like after you pick your first class. You can be any of the classes with any character. Not Final Fantasy XIV. You don't, it doesn't depend on the race or the sex in Final Fantasy XIV. I play the Lilican class all the time, and whether I'm female or male, you can do whatever class you want. Hi RPGs, by the way. It's been a while since you showed up to a stream. Yeah, there's black mage, white mage. Those turn into higher level things. There's a summoner class, which I personally love, because the summoner class can either turn into a DPS class later on, or it can turn into a healer class, so you can play both roles with one class. Oh, we were talking about Final Fantasy XIV. He asked what classes there were. This class, yes, this game, yes, specifically, there's classes that are mainly restricted to that race right there that I'm staring at. Those little female classes. But a lot of them are not super restricted, I guess. But if you want to play a class with the most diversity, it'd be the LN class in Tera. Final Fantasy, I'm trying to think, because there's 3 different major cities that you start at based on the classes that you choose. The Marauder is a tank. The summoner. Oh, I'm just doing a chill stream right now, but I think I'm in telephone or something. I just stopped playing the thing so I could talk. Or Tulaphon, whatever it's called. I don't know. The one city has Marauder, Summoner, and I think the other class in the city is Rogue, but you can't access Rogue until, like I said, later on. The other city has Black Mage, your typical tank is the Warrior, and, what the hell is the other class that spawns there? Oh, the Pugilicist, because you have your fist fighters in Final Fantasy. I still don't like the monk in Final Fantasy. That's about the only class that I cannot stand playing in Final Fantasy 14. Because I don't understand it. So therefore I don't use it. Even when I tried using it, it seemed so freaking weird. But, that's in one of the towns. The other town has White Mage. The Forest Village, where I usually start my game, has White Mage, Lancer, and Archer. I think it's got another one or two classes as well. But, I usually play an Archer because when you upgrade to a Bard, I'm just somebody who likes bards in games, so that's what I go with. But I like the Dragoon that you get upgraded to as well. I had a Lilikin that was a Dragoon. I had one that was a Master Black Mage. I had like 7 characters. I had a Bard, I had a Black Mage, I had a White Mage, I had too many characters to count, honestly, but my main character was the only male character that I made. I know, I'm a dummy. The only male character that I made was a master of pretty much every class, because you can take every single class in Final Fantasy 14. After like level 10 or 15 or something, you can pick up whatever classes that you want and just play them. So, I mean, it's up to you, but dungeons are the big thing in Final Fantasy 14 because you have to do team play. And the problem with team play in Final Fantasy 14 is DPS roll, but that's a problem in every game, honestly. It seems like that the DPS roll is kind of overloaded, which is why, again, I would typically play a summoner, because you can either play a DPS roll at a certain point, or you can play a healer when you get to a certain level as well, so that way you don't have to sit there forever for dungeon queues. But mostly if you're a tank, one of the 2 tank classes, you're gonna get into a dungeon pretty fast. And normally, but it's usually easier to get into dungeons if you're a tank, because I think that's the lowest pool of, well, what people have available to play, because a lot of people play DPS or healer. There's also advanced classes in Final Fantasy 14 that are in like a later city, with like the Dark Knight, which I don't like that class very much, but there's a Mechanist, which is like a... It's supposed to be a secondary ranged physical damage DPS to go with the bow. The Mechanist is a gun user. And then I think there's something like an Arcanist or something that's a healer that uses like something like the weapon that the Sorcerer uses in this game, but like more orb-like. I don't know. It's a lot of fun though. To be honest, I think I'm done with Tera for today. My brain stopped working a while ago and it's midnight. So I think I have at least one stream planned for tomorrow, and that's Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider. We're gonna get back into that since I only did one stream of it. I might do Tera again at night, depending on when I wake up and when I do the first stream. Because I've been getting a lot of views on Tera, and it seems like a good game to play since half the people who play it on Twitch don't speak English. Or at least that I've noticed they don't. And I'm enjoying it, so hopefully everyone else is too. But yeah, I'm gonna go try and relax for a couple hours with some anime or something and try and get some sleep. So I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Hope everyone enjoyed. Thanks again for the follow to Snowbomb18. And I'll catch you guys next time. Have a good one. Bye, RPGs.